Our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
What's going on, Condors Town? It's Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Oh, it feels like the summer's been so long. Not only because of the heat, but because, we weren't able to cool down with the Condors. And that's why it's time to enjoy it once again. Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors on the other side of the screen. What's going on, my friend?
How are you, Erik? I'm good. 2 days to opening night. We're ready to go.
Well, let's jump into it. Let's talk. Obviously, we always talk about the parent team first. So let's talk about Edmonton. They had their opener last night. I know I'm going to get grief all season long because I am a Ducks fan. Of course, all the teams are starting to have their first game. And, of course, the Ducks had their first game. And, of course, it went to overtime because Ducks do Duck things. But a nice game there. But let's talk about Edmonton, who I think this – I'm going to think this Connor McDavid guy might have a future to him. Yeah,
he's pretty good. He's he's the best player in the world.
Either that or people hated him so much they threw their hats on the ice at him.
Yeah,
it's into the two.
Yeah, so
hat trick last night, amazing.
Yeah, if I know Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson, they probably weren't happy with falling behind 2-0 in the opening 2 minutes of the game. But I think with opening night, there's a lot that goes on kind of behind the scenes, and there's bigger intros and, more stuff kind of going on pregame. So it, kind of get out of rhythm a little bit and come into the fact too that you're trying to get into rhythm anyways from it, being a new season.
Right.
It's not an easy thing. And Oilers started kind of flat, but credit to them. They settled in. Jack Campbell was Jack Campbell. Connor McDavid was Connor McDavid. And at the end of the day, it's a 5-3 win. And, they don't ask how, they ask how many, and one on the win column.
And, of course, big night for him because he passed 700 points last night, too, in that hat trick.
Yeah, I think, there's been 6 players, I think he's 6th all time to get to 700 points in the amount of games he did. He, kind of beat Crosby in that regard. And, Connor's missed, parts of 2 seasons. He missed basically an entire season his rookie year and, parts of 2 years. So,
right.
He's only going to get better, I think. I don't even think we've seen the best Connor McDavid. I think I saw the interview last night with Leon Draisaitl where he talked about, him kind of joking with Connor that he should get 60 goals every year. And Connor kind of joked that, it's kind of not his thing, but, kind of laughed that he probably should as well, too. So he's going to have a special year. 4 points last night. He's well on his way to, being the most dominant player in the NHL again.
Of course, we could talk about everything restarts at the beginning of a new season. Mm-hmm. You got new players, new names, new faces. And, we did get Jay up there last year in coaching, and he continues to be up there. What are we seeing with the team this year with the new additions and maybe some of the removals? Yeah,
8 Condors dressed last night for Edmonton, and 5 of those guys played in Bakersfield last year. So I think what you're seeing is the foundation has been set here in Bakersfield for all different types of players. I think it was special last night. They did the intros and everyone kind of stood around center ice. Dylan Holloway and Brad Malone were both out there. Dylan Holloway, of course, first round stud draft pick, going to have a bright future. He's on the upswing of his NHL career. And you have Brad Malone, the wily veteran, the captain of this Condors team for the last 5 years. And not to say he's on the downswing, but, he's 33 and he worked his way back into the NHL after 5 years. He hadn't scored an NHL goal in 6 years, and now he's earned an NHL job out of training camp here this year. I think it shows you kind of what's happening in Bakersfield, where you can be the young hotshot first-round pick and make it. You can also be a guy who might need a rejuvenation, and I think Brad is proof positive that you put the work in and you do the right things in Bakersfield. It's not going to guarantee you anything, but it at least gives you a shot. And Brad took his shot and he ran with it. And, we probably won't see him Saturday night. We might see him at some point this year, but we probably won't see him Saturday night. But it's great to see him up at Edmonton.
Of course, another thing which we're looking up to Edmonton, of course, in Alberta. I did pass geography, I think. But anyways, Calgary hasn't played yet. Obviously, they're a whole new setup this year with Gaudreau's move. But we have the Battle of Alberta coming up this weekend. What are we looking at that?
Yeah, and I don't know who's doing marketing for the NHL, but whoever it is, the Oilers and the Flames only played 3 times this year and once in Edmonton. So, this is the only time you're going to see the Flames in Edmonton if you're an Oilers fan this Saturday. That seems off to me. I know there's, you have to play so many teams, et cetera, but you should play the Flames more than 3 times, I think, every year. But, it's spirited rivalry. It's one of the best rivalries going in the NHL. It's been a rivalry in the AHL, too, at various levels for various teams as well. So looking forward to it. Yeah, it's a new look Calgary team, but I think they did a good job of revamping, not, letting people walk and not replenishing the cupboards, if you will. I think they did a pretty good job. So should be 2 of the playoff teams, I think, in the Pacific. The Oilers probably favored a bit, but, the Flames are going to be right there too.
Well, let's jump into that. You're taking my notes away from me before I can get to
I've done this a time or two, Eric.
But let's talk about the Pacific. Obviously, Calgary is going to be in the. It's way too early to start talking about playoffs, I think. But let's talk about the rest of the Pacific Division, where Edmonton and Calgary both hang out. Yeah, I think Edmonton and Calgary are, probable playoff, favorites. I think if you kind of put them, in 2 of those spots. Other teams I look at kind of in a cluster of, and we talked about this last year of teams that can take the next step. We've seen that with the Ducks and the Kings. The Kings getting in last year. Can they continue to step forward and progress? Can the Ducks kind of take a step forward this year with kind of their young core? Vegas has a lot of question marks, but they still should be okay if they can overcome, kind of their goaltending issues here early on this year. We'll see what they kind of hold. Vancouver's a team that thinks of themselves as a playoff team. I don't. I still think they're a little bit away, but we'll see what they have this year. So I think it's definitely top heavy in the Pacific. I don't think San Jose is going to be very good. I just don't see it. I don't see Seattle being very good. So we'll see what happens. But, I think it's pretty top heavy. And then you kind of have a cluster of 4 to 5 teams that are battling for 2 spots or maybe just even 1 spot. It's going to be interesting to watch. Let's talk about, obviously, everything is affected in the AHL by the NHL, including some changes this year. Brand new team, a team that is in a new location. Let's talk about what this new season's looking like. Yeah, we're going to start the year Saturday the way we, finished one of the series last year, and that's with Abbotsford and hopefully a win over the Canucks. We faced them last year on opening night and beat them. Hopefully can do that again here this year. A lot going on, 25th anniversary season. Calgary's in the division now. They're, what was Stockton. Coachella Valley's in the division now, Palm Desert, if you will. They're a brand new team. They're Seattle's AHL team. So 10 teams in the division. We'll also see Texas this year as well, too. So a pretty balanced schedule. You won't see teams more than 4 times in any place. So that's cool for, fans and for broadcasters and for everyone to not see the same teams over and over and over. So great schedule variety, a lot of fun. Looking forward to opening night. It's always a fire drill to get to opening night, but it's controlled chaos, but we'll get there. And it should be a lot of fun Saturday night. Looking forward to a big crowd and hopefully a big win. Yeah, no offense to Henderson fans, but we are so tired of seeing Henderson so much. So it's nice to see some new teams, some new players. It'll be nice. It's more balanced. It's there's variety. There's some different divisions in there. So it is nice. I think when you only see a team 4 times in one spot, you're not. And we go to Ontario twice the first weekend, so we're kind of knocking out Ontario right away. But right. It's definitely fun to see a different variety of teams. Let's go and talk about, obviously, we're talking about open night coming up this Saturday, but we did have a couple preseason games. Preseason is, we start, you knock off some cobwebs, you try some new systems, try some new places, new ways, new things, maybe even try something new in the concession stand, whatever. But a couple of preseason games against San Jose, how'd that go and what were you seeing? Yeah, split them, got 3 points. We lost an OT up in San Jose on Saturday, beat them here on Friday. I think it was big for the coaching staff because the Oilers this past week had to do a lot of training camp maneuvering, cap maneuvering, player movement up, down, all around. And as a result, we had a lot of players that, I think will be full-time in Fort Wayne. We'll see sometime in Bakersfield, but in the ECHL mostly. But, we didn't know if we were going to need all these guys going into opening night. So there really hasn't been cuts out of Bakersfield's camp. And that's due to the fact that, we don't quite know what's happening Saturday. We have a better picture now.
We've added Jason Demers, who's an NHL veteran, 700 games. He's going to be an awesome guy on the blue line. I had him in Worcester, Mass 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
So life's coming full circle a little bit. But James Hamlin's back. The Oilers acquired a first-round pick in Klim Kostin out of St. Louis. So he's driving and he's on his way out. So he's all set to go. So there'll be some new faces, but I think a really exciting time for the organization because, there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of young first-round picks that are going to be on the team. And I think there's still some movement coming, that'll be on the full-time basis, I think, if you will. But, for now, I think it's a fairly strong team that's only going to get stronger. Raphael Lavoie's out injured. Carter Savoy's out injured. Vinny Desharnais out injured. Tyler Benson's out injured. So there's like 4 or 5 guys that are injured that are going to be full-time Condors, I think, at some point this year. And, I think you have to fill that gap right now. But when those guys come back in the next couple of weeks, I think it's really strong.
You mentioned some fresh faces we're seeing this year. Anyone in which maybe it might be a little surprise to people where you're thinking these might be the little magic player in the pocket.
I'm excited for, I'll give you an older guy and a younger guy. And the older guy is Greg McKegg. NHL veteran, a guy who played, the better part of the last 3 years in the NHL full time with the New York Rangers, comes in and gets a fresh start in the Oilers organization. A guy who, knows his role. He's a centerman. He's a guy who's a point guy at this level. So I think he fills in nicely. And then I'm excited to see Xavier Bourgault. He's the Oilers' first round pick from last year. He's a guy who, is going to be on the Holloway track, if you will, and we've seen what Dylan Holloway can do a year later. So, Holloway had 15 goals last year. Can Bourgault get to 15, 20? If he's here full time, I think that's not out of the realm of possibility. And the Condors need that. They need first round picks to pan out and to be contributors at this level, or else it doesn't work. And, the last couple of years we've seen some great contributors. It started with Evan Bouchard, Philip Broberg, Dylan Holloway now Xavier Bourgault. It's his time. And will there be growing pains? Absolutely. Do I fully expect him to walk in day one and be the best player in the league? No. But do I expect him to be a top 5, a top 7 rookie in this league? Yeah, I do. And that's the expectation here in Bakersfield. And, it's exciting to have guys like that here in Condors Town before they go on to bigger and better things.
Let's talk about, obviously, 25th anniversary. Last year, we did have some shuffle when it came to coaching. Obviously, Jay went up to the big leagues and kind of working out our system here. And we're heading into a new year, new coaching system, new setup. What do you see in that end?
Yeah, I think Colin, and we put out a video yesterday kind of mic'd up with Colin Chalk, and it gives fans kind of an insight into Colin and what he's all about. And I think the biggest thing with him is his positivity. I think first and foremost is, everything is done in a positive manner, and it's looking to build the team, build the culture, build the group as a whole, but also recognize that, everyone's human. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have bad days, and, how do we work through those? And right. I think, Colin's uber positive with everybody, probably to a fault, but it's great to see, and it's kind of infectious. If you're looking around going, well, head coach of the team is, the way he is right now, I need to, make sure I check myself at the door and, not bring outside stuff in, and make sure that I'm, doing all I can to, keep the energy in the room high. And, he's infectious. We had to meet the team party last night. He was great, meeting fans and hanging out. And, he oozes energy, and he's a guy you want to play for and want to work for. And, got to know him a bit last year and got to know him more here, obviously, as he's the head coach, and I work more closely with him. But he's brought in a great staff. Everyone's gelling well, and we're ready to go, ready to drop the puck Saturday night.
It's going to be interesting. 2 days away from opening puck drop on the 25th anniversary. Going to be a big night out there, right?
Yeah, Paul Rosebush is going to drop the opening puck. He's part of a long alumni series that we're doing. Interviewed Glenn Mears, Andrew Iannaro, some of the old faces here in Condors Town, caught up with them. So we'll air some videos throughout the course of the season. And it's going to be really special. So, yeah, Rosie's here. We've got posters to give away celebrating kind of all the best moments in Condors history. Hopefully a big win over Abbotsford. We've got some new food items at the concession stands as well, too. So looking forward to getting it going. And hopefully everything goes off without a hitch. Fingers crossed.
Well, I have to be picking up my 25th anniversary puck. I'll put it right next to my Bakersfield Fog puck I have over here on the side. So it's going to be a good time. Of course, our sister station, Groove 99.3, is going to be out there, so it's going to be a blast. And you know what? We'll try to get some of these vets join us for the Condor Connections as well.
Yeah.
I love chatting with them. I've had a chance to connect with them, and they always give great insight into the now.
Yeah,
because you always got to learn from the past, and they got a lot of great things to share. So looking forward to that, my friend.
Looking forward.
Once again, get tickets. How do you get them?
Best way to do it is go to BakersfieldCondors.com. Start at $12. We got the big 6-pack still on sale. It's the last game you can get the big 6-pack for. Other than that, you can go to AXS.com. Box office is open, but everything's digital nowadays. You don't have to come down here. Just do it on your phone, and we'll see you Saturday night for a big crowd and a big win.
It's going to be a blast. Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Next week, we'll do this once again. Throughout the whole season, it is your Energy Condors connection with Energy 95.3. And, of course, your hometown, Bakersfield Condors. Opening night, 2 days away. Don't miss it.